before at least.
Okay.
Because I may get carried away, sort of. I'm so excited about education in China.
Yes. Okay.
So my topic was co-creating future digital learning solutions, and I'll talk about that. But first about the introduction. So who am I and what is my relationship to education? As I started actually in Hanasaari presentation, it seems that finally this idea of electronic markets for learning and easy access to high quality education over the internet has come. Okay, this is actually an article I wrote recently. It's on communications of ACM with some American colleagues. Recently was actually year 1996. So then we said that now the world is ready for distributing electronic education from qualified institutions so that the content of the education will match the needs of particular individuals. So personalized education over the internet for pay or for free. Okay, interestingly, the time of this has not even, it's just about to arrive, and this discussion was stimulated by this discussion on MOOCs. Well, how does this relate to China? Actually, 95, when I went to China, I went there to start a very large education engine system where we could deliver education over the internet from qualified institutions around the world to Chinese audiences. There was only one problem: there was no internet. Okay, then I started a few years later a company that wanted to do it on a mobile, but there were no handsets. So actually, in scientific terms, the article was like interesting, but in business terms, it was not really like truly exciting. So the point is that the work that I'm doing now as the coordinator of this China-Finland ICT Alliance in digital services and technologies, we aim at creating, together with China, viable solutions for business and for society's needs. And education is one of our core areas. I'll skip this part. So I spent maybe some 10 years in this area, or 15 years in the early 90s and early 2000. And it is indeed now about the time China has developed extensively to be really a not only a key market for learning. We actually consider China as a key partner for global learning solutions. That is our approach. Not a market for learning or not market for technologies, but a key partner for co-developing these solutions. Okay, then some words about the China-Finland ICT Alliance. So this alliance was originally started between Ministry of Science and Technology of China and then our corresponding ministry, which is the Ministry of Employment and Economy. And indeed Tekes is a key entity there. And originally this was very, very focused on technology, developing new network and radio access technologies together, but we managed to squeeze a thing called services there. And from Ministry of Science and Technology focused, we have now extended this to cover other ministries. And why again I think this today's meeting and the activities that you all are involved is very important is that when Finland has something to offer to the world, that something could be education. Because technologies, first of all, they are like easily replicable, and we do not have any unique advantage in technology as of today compared, for example, to China. But we do have some expertise and capabilities in educational system development and in renewing education that we may, together with China, leverage. Okay, so for us this is extremely important. And what we have done after starting from really like from the network and 4G activities, we have moved into digital enablers. You see here lots of different technologies that we are now having joint projects, including cloud, software, security, big data, and others. And next media. And if the network layer is the infrastructure without which nothing really takes place in the digital world, these are the enablers of new services. Okay, these are the enablers of new services, and I see a number of people who are involved in these activities, at least Jyrki sitting there at the back door, working heavily for our tonight presentation to Texas on big data. So these things make it possible to create new education solutions that we 20 years ago envisioned. We envisioned, but it was not possible. Now the time has come, and we are the people, so to say. And indeed, what this very technically driven ICT Alliance has become to be, we really together are, with our Chinese partners, are trying to address some of the key challenges in the world. And China indeed has challenges. You know, the environmental issue it's phenomenally bad, and you all know that, so I don't spend time on that. But actually, for educationalists, one thing to deal with environmental problems is not only to try to clean the air with technical means, but it is to try to educate the population how we can develop new solutions that are less polluting. Elderly care, by the way, is the other one that is really big, but one of our major topics. And yesterday, by the way, I can say this, we had a board meeting at DCHILD, which decides about these national ecosystems and programs, and they prioritized education. So that is as new news as yesterday. So education, we have to succeed in this, and you are the people who make us succeed together. So I'm really happy to be here today. And indeed, those initiatives that we have, remember, we started from a technology origin, and those of you who know Ministry of Science and Technology in China, you know that it is rather technically focused. It's not social science or something. But even there, we have had really got a good response on saying that we should not only develop technologies, but we should focus on how we actually use these technologies for the good of the society, meaning creating new businesses, but also developing the society. And why this Tampere activity is exceptionally important is that our main aim when we started many years ago was to work together. Remember, I started with the slogan, co-creating the future. It's not by selling technology or creating some new technical solution, but renovating the education and innovation system of China together. Renovating the education and innovation system of China. And somebody says, why would Finland do that? That is a really crazy idea. We have a good system here, and let's not, help Chinese to copy. Okay. For most areas of business and technology, we do not have market-facing companies. Think of anything, smart home appliances, whatever. Those companies are actually companies in China who are global actors. And if we want to get our technologies and solutions to global market, be it in education, smart home or whatever, the best partners for us, some of the best partners will be in China. And when we have studied together and developed together, then we can go to market together. So from joint research and joint education to joint business. By the way, how much do I have time anymore? This was the introduction.
7 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. I didn't understand this becomes a motivational speech. But
Yes.
So what? Okay, this is fine. What our task is now then in this education area? We said that it's a priority. How are we implementing this? We are implementing it in one excellent initiative which is called Sino-Finnish Learning Factory. I think Tina mentioned it at the beginning of the Ministry of Education speech, and actually many, if all of you are, if not all of you, you are involved already. And that's an initiative that tries to be an umbrella between Finland and China in education area, in teacher training, administration, curriculum development, but also in learning solutions and learning technologies. And our task is to take care of this learning technologies and learning solutions part by bringing companies and universities together. And for bringing companies together, we have an instrument that is part of our sort of a shock instrument, sort of a toolbox, which is called business ecosystems. And our job in particular is not only to facilitate the technology research, but facilitate the pre-market business pilots with Finnish learning solutions. Okay, and there is a clear motivation why this seems to make sense. If we put the capabilities of China and Finland together and look at some of the specific Finnish qualities in both in learning research but also in making learning more accessible and actually more stimulating and fun, like the really substantial expertise in gaming and in mobile technologies, we can create solutions that are competitive. By the way, Chinese market is extremely competitive, so I would not like let anybody to be in the illusion that it's easy to sell education to China. Okay, that is. I tried it 20 years, so maybe hopefully next year we'll succeed. So, and I think it was in the Chais and Seppo's presentation as well that it's hard, but when we are working together as a nation, it's possible. And indeed, what we are doing is we are facilitating the cooperation with the companies that offer their solutions, ranging from kindergartens like Rovio and DB School, both of which, by the way, are known brands in China, to higher education, vocational education, and to professional education. And there are some niche markets, like one group we have is targeting, for example, airport training based on the Finnair earlier expertise. So we really, for us, it's better to find markets where we are strong. So we are not competing head-on with Stanford and MIT in an open courseware in artificial intelligence or something. So let's build on our strengths. By the way, the vocational education and the renewal of our polytechnic system is one of the really great opportunities, as was brought up during our lunch discussion. Okay, a few examples. What could be the solutions and what could be the target areas? One target area that we definitely are seeking to serve is the underserved population in rural areas. That's a big sort of a societal challenge for China, but that's also a big opportunity. Why to choose this target? There are 2 to 3 billion people around the world who are in the same position, or even worse, they don't have electricity, they don't have access to education, access to language learning, and so on. And we can help in getting access and creating new livelihoods worldwide. And we have a few projects already done since past years with Chinese that are built on this premise. There's, by the way, interesting sort of numbers that we learned from colleagues at BNU that there are 80 million children in the countryside who need to study English and need 200,000 more teachers there. This is just practically not doable. Other thing is that we are not focusing only on university education. If we want to get any solution to the market, especially when the market does not exist, when it's new industry, like elderly care industry in China, that industry does not exist. There are no people who know what it means even because of the tradition. Okay, that's fine. So educating 30 million people to this new profession will also create new opportunities for companies who serve this market with their technologies and so on. And we are working with the key education institutions like BNU and East China Normal University in Shanghai for high school and university level education. They are the top schools in China for that. And then also for kindergartens, we have partners like Wuhan All Kids. They serve 40,000 kindergartens in China. There are about 200,000 altogether. So they cover more than 20% of the market. They are serious players. And as we again discussed with lunch, it's better to be with the good guys than with the mediocre guys or the bad guys. So let's find the right partners, and hopefully they accept us as a nation and as key players, and let's work together. And indeed, when we think that we have some advantages in technologies, everything that we have here, they also have in China, but in much more larger scale and well developed. So it's not a one-way street, but it's working together. And how we operate. For some reason the presentation stopped here. We organize joint events, and we want to organize them so that relevant entities like CRC and this Finnish Education Center in BNU are involved. And one way we also work is that whenever there's a high-level activity like ministerial visit or something, if it's possible to bring together experts from academia and industry for activity in that context, we definitely leverage that. In a country like China, that is very important. And here is an example of what these companies that are working with us are aiming at. They're aiming at changing the sort of this conventional education to sort of more accessible but also more fun by using modern technologies. And indeed they range from very young children to university level and professional education. And why us as IT people are playing a role there, essentially all these companies are putting their services under the same kind of infrastructure. There will be a cloud service, there will be mobile devices, there will be wearable devices, and there will be lots of techniques for learning analytics and other. And they are all techniques that we are developing together in our research projects with our Chinese partner institutions. And I think to avoid going over time, which I've done, I leave you, of course, the presentation, and just before the contact information indicate that in the best spirit of like creating together this Finnish brand, we try to work together with all relevant parties, like all the centers in the universities, vocational institutions, but also very closely with TEKES, so that when Finland goes to China, or we go to Brazil or Indonesia or the Saudis, we go there as Finland and not as individual players who claim to be the one and only here. And indeed, we have a team at DCHI working on this national cooperation agenda, and then the Ministry of Education and the Academy of Finland in Beijing is represented by Mika Tirronen. He is the key person. He is the person who is driving this Sino-Finnish Learning Factory. And indeed, we are planning and discussing that the name should be changed. Factory is not a very positive word for growing together. And currently we have played with the word Sino-Finnish Learning Garden, but if you come up with a better word today, we might feed it into the system. So thank you very much, and sorry for going over time.
Okay, thank you so much, Matti. And